Hello students, let's continue the solid state setup and move further in this. So, in the last class, I have discussed with you some mnemonic. Okay, the mnemonic was over created, overreacting created many new health problems for Alice. Okay, this was the mnemonic we were using. So, how to use this mnemonic for remembering the difference between crystalline and amorphous solid? So we have to follow this thing like this. First, the Alice. Okay, we have to take the A from Alice. Here, A. A will be showing the arrangement. Okay, it means that the first property which we are considering for differentiating crystalline and amorphous solid is the arrangement of the molecules in them. So, arrangement of the particles. So, we know that in crystalline they are orderly arranged, means they are having a regular arrangement, while in case of amorphous solid it is an irregular arrangement. Okay, next, the next is the O means order. Okay, so due to regular arrangement in case of crystalline solid, they are having long range order. Okay, they are having long range order, and in some conditions they are also having short range order also. But amorphous solids only have short range order. Next is the M. Where this M come from this many. Okay, so M stands for the melting point temperature. Okay, M stands for the melting point temperature. So as there is an orderly arrangement for crystalline solids, the particles are arranged orderly, therefore they are having very sharp or high melting point. While in case of amorphous solid, as they are having short range order, okay, so they does not have any sharp melting point, but they can they can be softened to a very long range of temperature, and then they starts to melt. Okay, next, H. H come from the health. So here H is the heat of fusion. Okay, H is the heat of fusion, and the difference between the heat of fusion in case of crystalline solid and amorphous solid is that crystalline solids are having definite heat of fusion, while amorphous solid does not have any definite heat of fusion. Okay, next, in case of crystalline solids, the next is the C. Here C stands for the cutting. Okay, cutting of crystalline solid and amorphous solid. When we cut crystalline solid or when we cleavage it, we form out a smooth and regular surface. Okay, smooth and regular surface has been formed out, while in case of amorphous solid, when cleavage is done by a sharp edge tool, then an irregular surface or rough surface is been formed out. Okay, next, P. Here P stands for the, here P comes from this problem, and it stands for the physical properties. Okay, so the physical properties in case of crystalline solids, it is anisotropic. It means it is having different physical properties in different directions. Okay, as per the physical properties are applied from different direction, it will show different physical properties. While in case of amorphous solid, it is isotropic. It means that it will show same physical properties in all directions. Okay, the physical conditions which are given from any direction, it will show the same physical properties. Next is the N. N here stands for the nature. Okay, for the nature of the solids. So the crystalline solids are having the nature of pure solid. Okay, they are true solids. Okay, they are considered as true solids, while the amorphous solids are they having the nature of pseudo solids, or they are also known as super cooled liquids. Okay, they are also known as super cooled liquids. So this was the difference between the crystalline solids and amorphous solids. In last class, I have discussed about anisotropy and isotropy. So let's move further in this class and let's discuss about the types of crystal structures. Okay. What are the different types of crystal structures we are going to find out in crystalline solids? So There are majorly four different types of crystal structures which are found out in crystalline solids. One is ionic crystals, okay. Next is covalent crystals. Then other one is the molecular crystals, and next is the metallic crystals. Okay. So the first is the ionic crystal. Okay. So let's talk about what is ionic crystals. In ionic crystal, the lattice point are occupied by the positive and negative ions. Okay, as the name suggests here, ionic. Okay, so we know that there are two types of ions: positive ions and negative ions. So the lattice point, in the further class I have discussed about the in the previous class I have discussed about the lattice point. What was the lattice point? The lattice point were the position of the molecules or particles in a proper lattice structure. Okay, if I am saying that it is a lattice structure, okay, these red dots are showing the lattice structure, which are and I am joining them by a line like this. So here, these red dots are showing the lattice structure. Okay, they are showing the lattice points here. It means that each red dot will be a particle. Okay, and it can be a positive ion or it can be a negative ion in case of ionic crystals. Due to the presence of ions here, you know that a positive and a negative ion will attract each other. They will be having a strong electrostatic force between them, attractive force between them. Okay, due to this reason, they will be very hardly bounded to each other. Okay, very good bonded to each other. Due to which their structure will be hard. Their structure will be hard, and they will be brittle solids, due to their hard structure. They will be brittle solids. Okay, next, high melting point. They will be having high melting point due to very strong electrostatic force of attraction. I have discussed this thing before also, that due to presence of ions here, they will be possessing very strong electrostatic force of attraction between them, and due to this reason it will be very hard to um, uh, make them lose each other. Okay, to make them far away from each other, this positive and negative air, make them far away from each other, very high melting point will be required, or very high amount of energy will be required here. So hence they will be having high melting point. Next, they are poor conductor of electricity. Why they are poor conductor of electricity? So as you know that they are having positive and negative ions, na? They are having positive and negative ions. So as a positive ion and a negative ion are being attracted towards each other, then they are electrically neutral in nature. So in solid state, they will be very poor conductor of electricity. But in molten state, they will be good conductor of electricity. Also in aqueous state also, they will be very good conductor of electric current. Okay. Next, packing of sphere depends upon. Here the packing of the spheres means the particles. Okay, here the packing of the spheres, here the spheres means the particles. Okay, particles. Okay, here the sphere means the particles are depending upon, first, presence of charged species present. Okay, how much or how many charged species are present there, on that it will depend. Difference in the size of cations and anions. Okay, the size of the cations and anions also will affect the packing of the spheres here for ionic crystals. Next, in ionic crystal there are two types of ionic crystal present. One is AB type and another one is AB2 type. Okay, two types of ionic crystals will be present out there. One is AB type and another one is the AB2 type. Next, crystalline crystal lattice. What is crystal lattice? Let's discuss what is crystal lattice and what are unit cells. Okay, so what is crystal lattice? The crystal lattice is the depiction of three-dimensional arrangement of constituent particles. These constituent particles can be either atoms, molecules, or ions. Okay, of crystalline solids as points. Okay, it can be crystalline solids at points. Okay, the crystal lattice is the depiction of three-dimensional arrangement of constituent particles, which can be atoms, molecules, or ions of crystalline solid as points. Okay, so here taking an example of this particular cubical lattice. Okay, here cubical lattice. So here this cubical lattice, you can see that different points are being denoted by this red. I am making it, they are blue, but I am making them red in color. So these red points will be showing the lattice point here. If I am considering this single cube here, okay, here you can see that many of the cubes are formed out here. One cube, two cube, third cube, fourth cube, then fifth cube, sixth cube, seventh cube, and this is the eighth cube. So here total 8 cubes are joined together to form a single lattice. Okay. So here if I am considering one single cube here, okay, single cube, which is this one. Okay, and all the blue points here are the lattice point for this single cube. So here, this single cube which is forming this whole lattice, this single cube of this whole big larger cubical lattice is known as unit cell. Is known as unit cell. Okay, it is known as unit cell. Next, or the geometric arrangement of constituent particles of crystalline solid as point is space lattice is called crystal lattice. So this arrangement, okay, this arrangement here in the 3D space, is in the form of a cube. So this cubical form of arrangement is known as the lattice. Okay, it is known as the crystal lattice here. And the single arrangement for this, by which this whole of the lattice is formed out here, the single unit arrangement is known as the unit cell for this condition. Okay. Now, what are the crystal characteristics of crystal lattice? What are the characteristics for crystal lattice? So here, each constituent particle is represented by one point in a crystal lattice. Okay. So here the one point which is showing, it is one particle. It is a particle. Okay. Next, these points are also known as lattice point or lattice point. So these particle positions, this is known as lattice point. Okay, this is known as lattice point. Lattice point. Okay, okay. So this is also known as lattice point or lattice site. Another name for this is lattice site. Okay. Next, the lattice point is in a crystal lattice are joined together by a straight line. So each lattice site is joined with a straight line to the another lattice site. Okay. By joining the lattice site with straight line, the geometry of the crystal lattice is formed. So by joining this different lattice sites to each other, we form the geometry of the crystal lattice. Okay, we form the geometry of the crystal lattice. Let's move further. Next is the next type of next type of ionic crystal, that is covalent crystals. Okay, that is covalent crystals. So what are covalent crystals? So the covalent crystals are the ionic crystalline solids, where the lattice points are occupied by generally neutral atoms. Okay, there must be a neutral atom. Atoms are held together by covalent bonds here. And the best example for a covalent crystal is diamond. Okay, it is diamond. In previous classes, we have studied about the structure of diamond where one carbon atom was joined with four another carbon atoms. Okay, like this, the structure was formed out here, and this structure was known as tetrahedral structure. Okay, this structure was known as tetrahedral structure. Okay, and this tetrahedral structure is throughout the diamond crystal. Okay, it is throughout the diamond crystal, and each carbon atom is having four covalent bonds here with another carbon atoms. So this type of crystals formed due to covalent bonds are known as covalent crystals. What are their physical properties and chemical properties? They are hard solids. As we know that diamond is one of the hardest solid. Okay, then next, they are having very high melting point. They are having very high melting point temperature. Next, they are very poor conductor of electricity. Okay, as we know that diamond is a very poor conductor of electricity. Next, some examples for this type of covalent crystal is diamond, as I have talked before, and graphite also. Okay, you know that in graphite, what was the structure? Hexagonal structure is present out there like this. Okay, and this layering, they are layered up with each other like this. Like this, they are layered up with. This is first layer. Beneath it, beneath it will be the second layer. It means like this. Okay, like this. The second layer will be there. And these layers are connected to each other by means of covalent bonds between the carbon-carbon atoms. Okay, the carbon-carbon atoms of each hexagonal structure are connected with each other here. Okay, so this is the structure for graphite. So it is also an example for your covalent crystal. Okay, let's move further and see the next type of crystalline structure, which is molecular crystals. Okay, which are molecular crystals. Here, in the case of molecular crystals, the lattice points are occupied by neutral molecules. Okay, here the lattice points will be occupied by molecules, not by atoms. But in last case, as we were seeing that the lattice point here was occupied by a neutral atom. Okay, but in case of molecular crystal, what will be changes here? Here the lattice points are occupied by the molecules. Okay, but the molecules are neutral in nature. Okay, their nature is neutral. Next, they are the molecules are held together by van der Waals forces, intermolecular van der Waals forces. So, what were the intermolecular van der Waals forces? In previous class, we have studied about them. One was London dispersion force. Okay, London dispersion force. Then dipole-dipole interaction can be there. Okay, and hydrogen bonding can also be there. Hydrogen bonding can also be. In the case of ionic crystals, ion-ion interaction can be considered. Okay, but in case of molecular crystals, London dispersion force or dipole-dipole interaction, okay, dipole-dipole interaction, and the last is the hydrogen bonding can be present out. Next, they are very soft solids. They are generally soft solids as compared to the ionic crystals, or with the molecular with the covalent crystals. They are soft solids. Okay, they are soft solid due to their softness. Due to their softness, they are having very low melting point. Okay, as they are soft solids, so hence there will be very low melting point between them, and they are also poor conductor of electricity due to presence of neutral molecules here. Okay, due to presence of neutral molecules here, they are also poor conductor of electricity. Let's move further. Next type of crystalline solids are the metallic crystals. Okay, they are the metallic crystals. So what are these metallic crystals? Lattice points are occupied by the positive metal ions in the case of metallic crystals. Okay, here the lattice points are occupied by the positive metal ions. As we know that metal ions are generally positive only. Okay, and it is represented by m to the power n plus, where n is the number of positive charge gained by a metal. Okay, gained by a metal, which is this metal. These positive metal ions are surrounded by a sea of mobile electrons. Okay, these metal ions are surrounded by a sea of electrons, and these electrons are free to move. Okay, they can move easily from one end of the metal particles to the from one end of the metal solid to the another end. Okay, they can be soft to very hard. Okay, if I am taking example of sodium, they are softer. They can be cut easily with a simple knife. But while in case of but while in case of tungsten, okay, it is one of the hardest metal we know. Okay, so hence they can be either soft or either can be hard. Next, metals have very high tensile strength, which is known as, okay, you know this property. This property, due to this property only metal wires are made up. Okay, due to this property only we make the metal wire. Okay, metal wires are formed, and this property is known as ductility. Okay, so hence the metals are ductile in nature, we know that. Next, good conductor of electricity. The metals are good conductor of electricity due to presence of this free mobile electrons here. Okay, mobile electrons here, they can conduct electricity very good. Okay, they can conduct electricity very good. Okay, next, they are malleable and ductile. So we have discussed about ductility first. What is malleability? The malleability is the property to be converted into, or to be hammered into. Okay, if I am using the proper word here, then it is hammered into sheets. Hammered into hammered into thin sheets. Hammered into thin sheets. Okay, that is the malleability. Next, in case of metallic crystals, bonding electrons in the metal remains delocalized over the entire crystal. It means that the electrons which are bonded here, they will be moving from one end of the metal solid to the another end of the metal solid. It means they are delocalized here. They are having very high density. They are one of the most denser solids. Okay, means that they are one of the most denser type of solids, or crystalline solids. Next, let's talk about unit cell. Let's discuss about the unit cell. So, in the previous part also, we have discussed about unit cell. So, what is the definition of a unit cell? So, the smallest possible portion or part of a crystal lattice which repeats itself in different direction of the lattice is called the unit cell. For example, if I am taking an example here, here you can see that a cube is been formed out here, a large cube is been formed out here due to the joining of different crystal points, lattice points here. Okay. So if I am considering the single smaller cube of this large cube, okay, so this smaller cube will be considered as the unit cell here. And here also the lattice points are joined together to form this smaller cube. Many unit cell combine to geometrically form the crystal lattice. It means that this unit cell will be repeated regularly, okay, repeated regularly and joined together in order to form a crystal lattice. Next, what are some of the characteristics for a unit cell? So, the first characteristic is that a unit cell has three edges, A, B, and C. Okay, so they are having three edges. What are these three edges? Let's say this is A edge, this is the B edge, and this is the C edge. Okay, these three edges are there, A, B, and C. Next, they are having three angles. Okay, they are having three angles, alpha, beta, and gamma. So the angle between A and B, it is termed as alpha. The angle between B and C, it is termed as beta. And the angle between A and C, it is termed as gamma. Okay, it is termed as gamma. Let me change the color of this gamma. It will be more easily visible to you then. It is gamma. Okay, this angle is gamma. Okay, so they are having three different edges, A, B, and C, and three different angles, alpha, beta, and gamma. The ABC, the edges length or the edge, the ABC may or may not be mutually perpendicular. Okay, so in different types of unit cells are there. Okay, so in different types of unit cell, it is not necessary that these three edges will be mutually perpendicular in all the conditions. Next, the angle between the edges BC is alpha. Oh, sorry. So I will change here and I will get you the correct denotation of the angles here. So the correct denotation will be, if I am considering this A, this is B, and this is C, then between B and C it is alpha. Between, it means opposite to A it will be alpha. Opposite to B, it means between B and C and A it will be beta, and opposite to C it means between B and A it will be gamma. Okay, like this. So the angles are like this. Opposite to C, the angle formed, it will means the angle between A and B, it will be gamma. Opposite to A, it means between B and C, the angle will be alpha. And opposite to B, it means angle between A and C, it will be beta. So you can remember like this: opposite to A, it is alpha, it means the angle between B and C. Opposite to B, it means the angle between A and C, it will be beta. And opposite to C, it means angle between A and B, it will be gamma. Okay. Next, unit cells can be of two types. It can be of two types. One is primitive unit cell and the another one is the centered unit cell. So we will discuss these two type of unit cell in the next class. So for today, I am terminating this class here only by discussing about the unit cells and the types of unit cells in briefly we will discuss in the next class. So be at home and keep yourself healthy and safe. Thank you for today.